All right, so welcome to the recap and look ahead video. If this is your first time watching one of these videos, what I'm going to do is I go over the series that I ran this past season, give my thoughts on them, let you know where I finished, how I did in standings, and after all of that, then I turn and look towards this upcoming season, let you guys know what I'm going to run. So with that, we will get into it. So first new series I ran this past season was the Touring Car Fixed series. First attempt in a front wheel drive car on iRacing, and they are it's a beast, unlike what you're used to in rear wheel drives. So my first race was an utter disaster. These things, when you go to get on the brake, they load the front end so much, they push like a dump truck. You struggle to get them to turn. And then when you get on the gas, the weight transfers from the front to the rear, and you still push on the exit, but the front end feels very light. At least that's the way it feels to me. So, like I said, first race was a disaster of the season. I went back, practiced a lot more. I messed with the brake bias to help turn in so I could get the rear to step out a little bit. But again, it works a little bit different because these are front wheel drive cars. On a rear wheel drive car, you move the brakes to the rear too much, you get on the gas and it spins. On these front wheel drive cars, what happens is it kicks the rear end out a little bit, but you don't spin because they're front wheel drive. So you end up sliding through the corner. You push, but instead of pushing straight, you push with a slide. It's hard to explain, I guess. But once you get it figured out, you put some more front brake into it, it tends to help. At least it did with the Elantra. So I had some viewers that I raced quite a bit with. One drove the Audi, I believe. The other one drove the Elantra. The Audi behaves a little bit different. The brake bias even starts a lot higher, actually. I think in the 70%-ish range, whereas the Elantra I think starts at 55. So anyways, once you get that figured out, and learn that coming out of the corner, you can't smash on the gas because, like I said, it throws that weight to the rear, and you have no weight on those front tires to help you exit the corner. So you have to be easy with the throttle on getting out of the corner so you still have that grip on those front tires. Standing starts, first series, and I did standing start. That took me some practice. I practiced every time I get on the track, and when I go to leave the pits or anything for practice or anytime, I would just practice a standing start right then and there. That took some getting used to. Now I run the Huizenveld sprints. So in the software, I set up the clutch pedal for my as my bite point, set a button. So I had the dual clutch situation going. That tended to help. The Audis were just a lot better on standing starts, in my opinion. So it took me a while to get used to standing starts. Got them figured out. Well, I can't say I got them figured out, but I got better at them. Still messed up. Covering the clutch pedal on one race at Olton Park. Got off, didn't move my foot from the clutch to the brake, went to hit the brake, and I was pressing on the clutch, and that was a disaster of a race there. But overall, I was kind of hesitant going into this because they were front wheel drive cars and not knowing what I was getting into, but I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot from them. It's different. And if all you run are rear wheel drives and you jump into this, you may hate it. It takes some getting used to, but I enjoyed it. It was fun. I miss rear wheel drive cars. I'm glad I did this series, just kind of pushed out of my comfort zone. A lot of road racing for me is out of my comfort zone. I still consider me an oval racer. I'm not that great at road racing. I've gotten better, but I still don't really consider myself a road racer. So, but with that, we were in Division 2 and finished 19th in our division, and we finished 46th overall. So my goal is to finish top 100. Some series it's easier than others. My ultimate goal is to finish top 25. I didn't finish top 25 in overall, but I did finish top 25 in my division. So I am happy about that. I did win a race with this car. It was the only race this season that I won. It was at Mid-Ohio. And overall, I only lost 85 iRating. So I had a lot of good races. I had a few bad ones. But for the most part, I mean, losing 85 is really not that bad with my iRating where it is. A lot of that's inflated because I still claim it's inflated because of the Solstice when I ran that series or ran that car in the production car challenge. So I think my iRating is higher than it probably should be. So only losing 85, it's not bad. So yeah, had a lot of fun with the series. Had a lot of fun with the car. Like I said, I drove the Elantra. It's just different. I don't know. This series, I will say, it was popular enough to run in the time frames that I did. Now on Central Time Zones, so I did a lot of 7:45 and 9:45 races. They were popular to a point, didn't split a whole lot. So I don't think I ever had below 11 or 12 cars. Now, if you race earlier in the day, where I think this series is really popular in Europe and overseas, different time zones, I think they split. So they do have an open series. It's a C-Class series. But looking at that, I don't think that one's as popular, at least in my time zones. It's pretty. The Open is pretty popular, I think, in different time zones for European drivers. And I apologize. I kind of lump everybody into that European thing, Asian, overseas, different time zones. But I don't think it's as popular here in the States, time zone wise. So I don't know if we'll be racing that in the future, but I'll keep an eye out. But it'll be a long time before I ever get to this. So, but overall, the fixed touring cars had a lot of fun. I do recommend giving it a go, and hang in there. Don't just do 1 or 2 races and make your decision then, because if I'd only done that one race, yeah, it was bad. So I learned a lot. Hopefully I can transition some of that to rear-wheel drive cars, especially on power when it comes to easing on the throttle to get out of the corner. So I have a tendency to slam on the gas exiting corners. So all right, so that is the touring car. we will move on to the SK Modified Open Series. Now, I ran the SK Modified Fixed Series in the past. It was the worst series I ever ran. It was just a disaster. Lost a lot of iRating, had a lot of incidents. That series was follow the leader. So everybody running the same setup. It was just a train all the way around and you couldn't pass. So really looking forward to the Open Series. Still hard to pass. But everybody's not bunched up. Doesn't split. It's not very popular, but it was still fun. Now, for the most part, I ran good races, finished a lot in the top 5. I had a few bad races. 4 really is the I only really had 4 really bad races. Got spun, ended up in the back. Just bad races. Unlucky on some, but I ended up losing 209 iRating. Now, the majority of that iRating loss was from those 4 races. My iRating's high enough to where when I finish dead last, I lose close to 100 iRating. So losing 209, yeah, it doesn't look good. But I had more fun in this series than my iRating actually shows. So with that, we were in Division 1. We finished 12th in my division and 18th overall. So I thought we ran really good. Again, it wasn't that popular of a series, so finishing in the top 100 would have been pretty easy, but I was really happy to stay in the top 25 overall. So had a lot of fun. It is hard to pass in these cars. With them being so lightweight, you don't use a whole lot of brake. Really, to get around somebody, you got to, the guy in front of you, you got to hope he makes a mistake, gets in the wall, gets a little loose, so you can get that run when he backs off, because other than that, it's extremely hard to pass in these cars. I'm hoping that the wheeling modifieds are a little bit different, because they're going to be hopefully a little bit faster, maybe easier to get loose, maybe need a little more brake so you can either drive in a little harder or whatnot, but I don't know. So we'll see how that goes in a few seasons when I finally get to it. So, but compared to the fixed series, night and day. I really enjoyed the Open series. I despise the fixed series in this, so take it for what it's worth. I'm not a big fan of any fixed series. So those were the 2 new series that I ran this season. Had a lot of fun in both of them. I tried running the NIS Series Open. The problem, I only ran about 8 races. I really wanted to run, my goal was to run all 36. Time-wise, kind of affected me some places. Being a special series, this runs 4 times a week, and I've only got 1 shot at it, and that's a Friday night. Well, if I'm busy on a Friday night, I miss the race. I miss the race for the week. I can't make it up any other time. So I knew it was going to be hard there. But I haven't run this series a whole lot the last few weeks, and that's because I'm done with this series. So I've ran 8 series total. We were in Division 1. At this time, I was 121st in my division and 309th overall, but this is week, I want to say 16, 17, so I've only run half of the season. But one of the reasons why I'm done with this, Richmond really, Richmond burned me out. 17 cautions in 1 race is a lot. When you've got 500 guys signing up for this race. So you've got a lot of splits. 400 or 500 might be much. 300. Let's go with 300. So you got a lot of guys that are racing. And the way the splits are done is they're split by I rating. So when you get put in a split, which I was normally in the second or third split, a lot of the drivers have nearly the same identical I rating. So you're racing with guys with the skill level similar to yours. Now, what I have found with that is egos go with that. Talladega is another that the last 2 races I ran have really turned me off on this series. So the guys that you would think the guys with higher I rating would be cleaner, but they're more aggressive because they may be fast, but they're running into a lot of people that are just as fast as them, but they think they're just as fast or faster and should be able to do things, and they make stupid mistakes, push their cars, put them in places where they shouldn't be, and just accidents out the wazoo. And that's what happened in Richmond. 17 cautions, just crazy. And then Talladega, we had a good race at Talladega. Got involved in another incident right there at the end. Guy blocking, thought he had room, didn't, turned me into the wall. But that was it's been kind of the norm for the NIS series for me. I don't know how many races I actually finished going forward. Normally it was either sideways or backwards because I'd get wrecked. But just disappointing in the time that you put into it to practice so you can run a good clean race, and then you do run a good clean race, and then I get it, the last 25 laps, it's getting closer, it's time to really race hard, but I don't know, just stupid mistakes, stupid things, and I kept getting caught up in it, and it's soul sucking is what it is. So, but back to Talladega ran a good race, got wrecked at the end, but there's guys in there arguing with each other, and it's just, you get egos in this series, and I'm here to have fun, and that just, again, soul sucking. It just drains all the fun out of it. So over the last 5 races of this season, I ended up losing 123 I rating. I can't say I don't run well because I'm in the splits I'm in, I'm middle of the pack guy. But I can't even finish middle of the pack because you get taken out. Atlanta comes to mind. We kept falling to the back in Atlanta because they've narrowed up that track, but the guys, it's a draft track. The guys want to run 3 wide all the time. So I don't know. Anyways, so I am done with the NIS series. I will not be racing it anymore. I will be doing some other NASCAR series though, but with me not doing this, it gives me the opportunity, if I miss a race, I can always make it up. I never could with the NIS series. So there's other NASCAR series out there that I run better in than the NIS, so we're going to give those a go. So that's kind of my thoughts on the NIS. But I don't think it was very popular on this channel anyways, and to those who did watch it, I apologize. Just stay tuned for my other NASCAR series where hopefully we can actually race and have some good races. So, alright, now at the end of last season, season 1, the Toyota in the Production Car Challenge was our best series that I ran over anything. And when I calculate that, I calculate by I rating gained or lost divided by the amount of races I did, and that gives me my average I rating gain or loss. So by that, the Toyota in the Production Car Challenge was the best series that I run. So I gave it another go. I enjoyed it. Downside is they changed it. And when I say they changed it, they got rid of the Jetta, added the Clio. The Toyota went from the second fastest car to the third fastest car. And even that was questionable because the Clios, the Toyotas, and the Mazdas, depending on who's driving, all run the same speeds, pretty much. Which makes it hard for multi-class racing. Now, this is the only multi-class racing I've done. And to me, it has become more of club racing. And I consider club racing, you jump in a car and you go out there and race. Even though it's a different class, you guys are running the same speed because the skill levels are different, speed and the cars are different. So you're not racing with just your class. You get stuck behind Clios. Well, Clios have maybe faster straightaway speed, but slower cornering speed. So you're on their ass going through the corner and they pull away from you in the straight. And then you're same thing next corner because you're faster than they are on the corner, but it's hard to get around some of them. And then, excuse me, I don't know if it's because they think that, hey, I'm here to race, I'm going to race you no matter what. They don't get out of your way, even though you're not racing them for position. Had that happen at the last race. Had a Clio in front, could not get around. I gave up a position for a faster guy than I was to use him as a pick just to get around the Clio. I mean, it's ridiculous. We're not racing for position, but the guy wants to race me because, hey, it's a race. So it's annoying. Some of the Mazdas are faster than the Toyotas. Those three cars right there are grouped so close together, but they run so different in the corners and in the straight. It's just not, to me, it's not any fun. To me, granted, this is on my only multi-class races that I've ever done or series that I've ever done. To me, a multi-class series, you should have cars that have different speeds. From what I have seen on other YouTubers, you know, the IMSA, all of those cars have such drastic differences in speeds that they're not racing each other. One car can get around the other one so much quicker and be out of the way. But that doesn't take place in the production car challenge. So, but like I said, the Toyota and the production car challenge at the end of season 1 was the best series that I ran. That has changed. I have struggled with speed this season for some reason. I don't know if it's because I haven't dedicated my time to this series like I did the touring car because it wasn't a new series for me, or being the second season, guys have just gotten the car figured out and have gotten faster. That's possible. I'm done with the production car challenge. I won't be coming back to race the Mazda, the Toyota again. I'm not going to race the Clio. I'm not going to race the Mustangs. I am done with the production car challenge, and the reason being is the way the splits are done. Now, with the update, they've supposedly made some changes to the way multi-class splits are going to happen. They've also, from what I've heard, they were going to talk the field size or increase the field size, so you'll have more cars per split. But I'm done with the series. I don't want to take a chance to see, okay, is it going to be better? Is it not going to be better? Again, I'm tired of the club racing. So the splits just sucked. At the beginning of the season, for a lot of series to go official, you need 6 cars. Well, we'd be racing with 4 or 5 cars because the split was so messed up. There'd be 4 or 5 cars in the split that I'm in the class that I'm in the Toyotas, and the split right below may have 17 cars. I mean, why does one split have 4 and the other one has 17? I don't get it. Nürburgring was one. So the race I ran at Nürburgring, we were in the second split and we had 16 cars. So I went and looked at the top split, and the top split had 2 Toyotas. Well, who wants to race against one other guy? It's no fun. So I don't like the way the splits are going anymore. Didn't have any issues last season because the Toyota was the new car, so it was popular. Toyota is still popular, but a lot of guys have tried the Clio. The Clio's numbers dropped towards the end of the season. A lot of guys went back to the Toyotas or the Mazdas. Those numbers were up. The Mustangs are hit or miss whether or not you're going to have a whole lot of guys in there. So because the Clio, it's basically the splits. You can't guarantee you're going to be racing with at least 6 guys. If a race doesn't go official without 6, I want to race with at least 6. So I don't know how they're going to fix that, or what they're going to do, but I can't guarantee it's going to be fixed. So I'm done with the production car challenge. I will not be revisiting that again. I've said that in the past. But I'm sticking to my guns this time. I'm done. So because we struggled with speed on this car, we did lose 280 iRating, so we nearly lost half of what we had gained last season. We were in Division 2, finished 46th in my division and 176th overall. Didn't quite make the top 100 overall and didn't make the top 25 in my division, so wasn't the best season. Again, we had some up and downs. There were some fast guys in there, and when there's only 4 or 5 guys and everybody's a second to 2 seconds faster than you are, you know where you're going to finish. So just, I don't know. The club racing really turned me off this season, having three classes racing about the same speeds. It wasn't fun for me. And if a series isn't fun, I'm not going to do it. So that is my take on the production car challenge this year, or this season. Now, one series that I like and I have always liked, but I haven't run enough of it the last few seasons, has been the late model stock. Now, they got a new late model this season, and this series was very popular. I'm not gonna say that it was dwindling and it was down last season or the seasons before, but there seemed like a lot more drivers in it this season than in the past because of the new car. And you got to drive it different. So I only did 4 races, and the first race I drove the new car like I did the old one and drove the right front off, and I've never had that problem with the old car. So it drives different. It drives kind of like a modified. You drive it deeper, but you use less brake. One thing that guys are doing with the setups is they're really using that chip so they don't go too fast into the corners. Instead of using the brake, they really use that chip limiter, and I've noticed that. The car is fun. The car sounds different, sounds good. Out of the 4 races, the first one was rough, but I had it figured out after that and had really good races after that. So I did gain 18 iRating through my 4 races. Lost a lot that first one. So it's a fun car, still a fun series. The late model stock tour is my best series that I run. So really enjoy this car. But we were in Division 1 in my division, finished 120th. We finished 341st overall. Again, I only ran 4 races. 8 races count towards the season, so I only ran half of them. I think I could have finished in the top 100 if I would have run all 8, but I like the car. The car's fun. You just can't drive it like you did the old one. So off to that, we ran the C-Class Fixed Series. that was kind of our backup if we missed the late model races on Sundays, because I use Sunday evenings for practice, so I'm limited to what times I can race on Sundays. If I missed the start for that, I'd fall back to the Class C fixed. Now, I mentioned earlier, I don't like fixed series on ovals, but I seem to do okay in the truck fixed series. So we only ran 2 races, but both races were actually good. We ran good, finished good. We did gain 13 iRating in this series, so that's always good. But again, with the 2 races, Division 1, we we finished 551st in my division and 5,100th overall. But again, we only ran 2 races. I don't know if I'd have finished in the top 100 in this series. It is a very popular series, especially being fixed. So that's what we ran this past season. Had a lot of fun. Surprising. Had fun in the touring car. Had fun in the SK Open series. Had a lot of fun in the late model and the fixed truck series. Did not have a whole lot of fun in the NIS or the production car series. So for the most part, it was good. Now let's take a look at what is coming up for season 3. So I do like the Toyota. I am going to give the GR Cup I'm going to be running the GR Cup in the Toyota. Now, the only downside I got going to this is it's a fixed series, and then normally road racing, I don't have problems with the fixed series. But when the Toyota first come out, it was very weird on how it handling. You would roll up on 2 tires, and being an open series, you could fix that. Being a fixed series where you can't change anything, I don't know if I'm going to have a problem with that. I hope I don't. I hope they got the car fixed or patched enough to where that doesn't happen. But I will be running the GR Cup this season and giving that a go. And then, so that's our road series. And then we're going to make a return to the dirt series. So the dirt series got a full refresh. A lot of things have been changed when it comes to dirt racing. Not just the cars, but the tracks, the data, parameters. A lot of things got changed. And now what I'm seeing is the sprint cars are worse off than they were before the change, but the late models and those cars are actually better. So I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to race the 360 Sprint Fixed Series. I like the sprint cars. I like the 305s. I haven't had a chance to try them out since this new update, so I may not like them anymore. Honestly, things may have changed enough that I may struggle. I don't know. But we're going to give the 360 Sprint cars a try. We're going to race the fixed series. If a series has a fixed and an open, I'm going to run the fixed before I run the open so I can get used to the car, and then I can start focusing on setups. So that's my thinking on running fixed before open. So we'll give that a go. I'm looking forward to returning to the sprint cars. I've ran the 305s, I've ran the late models, and I've ran the 358 modifieds. And I kept getting worse and worse and worse. Now, again, like the road course, I feel my iRating is inflated due to the solstice. When it comes to dirt, my I rating is inflated due to the Dirt Legends car. It hasn't come down enough. I've lost some I rating when I ran the late models. I lost some I rating when I ran the 358 modifieds, but I don't think it has come down enough to where I can still really be competitive. So hopefully the 360 sprints aren't going to be another fiasco like the late models and the modifieds were, and hopefully I can be competitive. But we'll see how this one goes. So the GR Cup and the 360 Sprint Fixed Series, those are going to be my 2 new series. I'm going to run 2 races each week in each series. Now we're going to get into our one-off series. So I like the late model stock. I'm going to stick with the late model stock. So the GR Cup, I plan on running Mondays and Tuesdays. The 360 Sprints, Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then the late model stock, I plan on running it on Friday. Since I'm not going to be doing the NIS series anymore, I'm going to move that up to Fridays, and we'll run that. Week 11, I don't have Hickory, and I don't plan on buying Hickory right now. So week 11, I won't be doing it. So hopefully I'll be racing 11 out of the 12 weeks. But I hope to race this car more. I really like it. Kind of bummed I only got to race it 4 times this last season, but moving it to Fridays, I should get to race it a little bit more. So Saturdays, I should have some time to race, and for those, I'm going to race the fixed truck series. So I've done well. I haven't done a whole lot of races. I think I've only ever done 17, 18 races in this series. But I've done well. I seem to run okay in it. So I'm going to give it a go on Saturdays. Now, granted, if anything comes up during the week, everything kind of gets pushed back a day. So if I miss a race on Wednesday, then everything gets pushed back. So I want to race this on Saturday. It would get pushed back to Sunday. So it gets really touch and go. I try to do 7 races a week. It doesn't always happen. Last few weeks I've only gotten to do about 5. So I try to make sure I get my 2 new series in. But on Saturdays, I'm going to give the fixed series a go. See how it goes. And on Sundays, if I can race, I'm going to run the Open Truck Series. Now, it's a 38-week long series. I am way behind on it. I'll be getting started on it week 18. So I've already missed 17, nearly half the season already. So I will be getting a late start on this. But again, being on a Sunday, I don't know how often I'll get to actually race this series. Because if I miss 1 race during the week, then I'm not going to be able to make this race at all. So don't know how much I'll get in of this one, but I'll give it a go when I can. We'll stick around for the other 38 weeks, or for the rest of the season, the other half of the season. I shouldn't bail on this one like I am the NIS. I've run this series before. The Class C, which are the trucks, the Class B, which is the Xfinity, and the Class A, which is the next gen, those all race different than the NIS. You don't have 300 guys signing up for these races. You have maybe 2, maybe 3 splits, depending on the race, the week. And there's enough gap that you don't have to me, you're always going to have the egos. You got guys with high I rating that's going to have egos, but you don't have everybody in there with an ego. And that's what just killed the NIS series for me. So on Sundays, we're going to try to run the Open Series. Now, if for some reason I am able to run all 7 races, but I miss the Open Series because of time, my backup is going to be an ARCA series. So you take week 11 when I don't have Hickory. The fixed series would move up to Friday. The open series would move up to Saturday, leaving Sunday open for the ARCA. Again, I may not race any of the ARCA series this season. Probably very limited open truck series. So once you get past Friday night, then it can be kind of hit or miss on what else I'm racing the rest of the week. So like I said, I try to do 7 races. I make sure my 2 new series, I make sure I get those in before anything else. And then everything else is like a one-off series. I race 1 time a week, and then I move on to another series. So that is my schedule. So road course Monday, Tuesdays, dirt track racing Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then oval racing the rest of the week. So I'm looking forward to this season. The GR Cup, yes and no. Hopefully, after running this last season in the Open and not having the speed, hopefully I'm okay in the fixed series, but I don't know. Always looking forward to running. I'm looking forward to running dirt, especially sprint cars. I like the sprint cars over all the others so far. So I am looking forward to that, especially with the new refresh that the dirt series got. But yeah, so anyways, that's what I plan on racing this season. It tends to be a long video, but I just want to let you guys know my thoughts on stuff that I've run this last season, what I thought about it, whether or not it's either worth trying or stay away from, and just let you guys know what I'm going to be racing. So I will say this, I do have a Discord, so the link is in the description down below. You guys want to chat over anything for this season, I've got pages in there, or whatever they call them, channels in there for each series I run. You want to talk about a specific series, I post what times I'm going to run that series. So you guys want any questions answered or anything like that, just feel free to join the Discord and give me a shout, and I'll do my best to answer any questions. So anyways, hope you guys like the video, and hope to see some of you guys on the track. So if you like what you see, hit the like, subscribe buttons as always, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.